Today we are learning to think and act like artists. We are practicing the printmaking process today. We'll be able to roll ink across our styrofoam printmaking plate. When it's covered in ink, we'll place the styrofoam printmaking plate on a sheet of paper and press with a brayer, and we'll pull the print. One reason why artists use the printmaking process is because they can make multiple copies of the same image. The printmaking process uses the following tools. You need a tube of ink, you need a metal tray, and you need a brayer. I want you to remember that this tool is called a brayer, so we are going to practice saying it together. A, B, C, brayer. A, B, C, brayer. A, B, C, brayer. The printmaking process has two parts. The first part is inking the plate, and the second part is pulling the print. To pull the print, you place the styrofoam printmaking plate on a sheet of paper. You press with a brayer, and you peel off the plate. Out of the 6 tables in the art room, 4 are going to have inking tools, and 2 are going to have the paper for pulling the print. The inking tools will be at star table, planet table, comet table, and sun table. The paper for pulling the print will be in the middle of the room, at rocket ship table, and moon table. If you sit at rocket ship table and moon table, you'll need to go to a different table to use the inking tools. Here's how to ink the plate. Apply this much ink to the metal tray. Don't use too much or your print won't come out well. If you're not sure, add less than you think you need. You can always add more later. Now use the brayer to roll out the ink. We're coating the tray and the roller part of the brayer with a layer of ink. You can tell when the ink is ready to be used because you can see a design in the ink that looks like fish scales or tree bark. You can also tell if your ink is ready because when it's ready, it usually makes a sound like this that sounds like radio static. If you don't see fish scales or hear static, you might have to add more ink to it, or you might have to get a paper towel and wipe some of your ink off if you have too much. Now place your styrofoam printmaking plate on the newspaper and roll across the plate. Then re-ink and roll again. Even though we've covered the entire plate, we're still not done inking. Re-ink and roll across again to create an even layer of ink. We're adding a second coat of ink now. If you don't do the second coat, your print won't come out well. Don't let anyone rush you. Even if people are waiting to use the tools, make sure you do the second coat. The cracks that you pressed in with the pen are still white. The ink can't travel down into those cracks, and that's a good thing. When you are done, leave the brayer for the next person by resting the handle on the upright piece of metal so that the handle won't get dirty. When you're done inking, it's time to pull the print. To pull the print, you have to pick up your styrofoam printmaking plate and travel to either moon table or rocket ship table because those are the tables that have the paper. So you have to pick up your styrofoam and bring it to one of those two tables. Next, take the brayer and a sheet of paper. The brayers that you use for pulling a print have a raindrop-shaped handle and they do not get dirty. Don't put this in the ink. Take your styrofoam printmaking plate and center it on the paper, so not crooked, center it, and roll across the back with the pulling brayer to transfer the ink. Now let's pull the print. As soon as you're done inking the plate, you need to put it on paper and pull the print fast because your ink will dry if you take too long. Also, try not to get the edges of your paper dirty. You don't need to write your name on the back because your print will match your plate and your name is on your plate. Take your print and put it into the drying rack right away. And then repeat the process so that you can make multiple prints. I hope you enjoy the printmaking process. Have fun, kids!